Hello, viewers. We have some questions related to psychological well being. So, we have with us Dr. Rituparna Ghosh, consultant, clinical psychologist at Apollo Hospitals, Navi, Mumbai. Doctor, we have our first question. How do we as parents handle children who are not expressing but definitely going through stress due to negative environment?
Um, Good afternoon, all of you. Yes, this is a very relevant, important question. First of all, I would like to say children who are expressive, suddenly they not, expressing and withdrawing is surely a sign of worry. And parents have to be very proactive in this, wherein they need to act like a friend, talk to the child, give them opportunities to verbalize their feelings. Because if a child suddenly becomes silent, that means he or she is going through some sort of worry or stress. And keeping in mind the pandemic that is going through and this uncertain time, we of course, as parents, need to be very careful. Secondly, let the child not only express but also at the same time connect with their age group peers through video calls, and also they should feel free to discuss certain things with parents. They should feel they should be given that environment where they come out and talk openly about their worries. Of course, a very important thing is to involve the children in the process of decision making at home, because I feel that if the child is an older child, somewhere around 13 years or more, then as parents we can ask the child, what can be done from your side, what is your view to tell regarding that how things can be controlled or what can be done as a family to work on this crisis. So automatically, if we involve children in the decision making process, they also feel less afraid, less anxious, and that will instill a lot of morale in them. That will instill a lot of sense of that community well-being where they are also contributing, and that will also lead to a lot of experiential learning, which is very much required during this stage. For younger children, I would like to say, introduce a lot of fun-filled activities at home wherein you as a parent can become a model and help them to imitate that. For older children, yes, introduce a lot of humorous activities when you are instructing them to do something. At the same time, if there's something to worry, whatever we are going through in this uncertain time, please tell them in a very non-threatening and a very non-overwhelming manner. Also, at the same time, involve them in the future decisions, like let's sit together and discuss about your career. Let's sit together and discuss about vacations we can plan post everything falls into place. So that itself will make them feel that yes, this crisis that is going through is a temporary phase, and of course things will get normal after a few months. So that also will instill a lot of sense of satisfaction in them, and that will reduce the worry. And one very important thing is, which I would like to say, let the child verbalize the feeling. Let the child get that healthy environment wherein they come up and discuss with parents, and the parents can explain that there's nothing to worry, and at times it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to feel so that is very important as a parent to work on that with the child.
We come to the second question. Many are faced with jobless, reduction in salary, uncertain future. How do we motivate ourselves in such situations?
Okay, so for this, I would like to say that, yeah, the economy has gone down and there's a lot of worries that is happening with people. Loss of employment is happening. There have been no increments in many companies. Of course, it's a point of stress. We need to accept that. But at the same time, there are certain things we cannot control in the external world. So rather than just asking what to do, what will happen, I mean, those future questions, we don't have answers yet. Rather, staying in the present, living in the present will help us to stay grounded, will help us to de-stress a lot, wherein we need to shift our focus from the external locus to the internal world and just check what are the things that are under our control that we can work upon, that we can find probable solutions to. That is very important. At the same time, the employees have to be given that platform from the employers wherein they can share their concerns, they can connect mentally with each and every teammate, and also don't stick to too much of perfectionistic attitude as of now. Accept how much you can give, be realistic Be realistic in evaluating how much you can give. And also, I feel the companies should, irrespective of the hierarchy, come together as a team and sing the same song in the same rhythm, wherein right now as a company, it's along with loyalty, we need to show empathy. That I think will retain the best assets. So focus on your internal locus, focus on the things you can do in the home situation and work upon that. At the same time, yes, managing finances is very important. So as of now, if you can just, chalk out how much of investments you have done and how you need to work accordingly, make an emergency fund. Also check you have proper health insurance coverage. Don't, do too much expenses on non-essential goods. Don't use too much of credit cards. Then don't invest money too much on risk funds as of now. At the same time, one very important thing, we need to follow this strategy that right now, if we are not, doing a lot of expenditure, that means we are saving that money. And the more we are saving our money, that is the money earned. So we need to follow that principle as of now.
We come to the third question. Most of the time, children are at home and getting desperate to go out. How do we stop them without scaring them?
Okay, so this is a very good question, and in our practice also we see a lot of parents who are coming up with this, and this is especially happening with a little, the older kids, 12 years and above, because they are into that juncture wherein they are the teenagers, they are the adolescents, and they have this tendency to defy. Whenever a parent is saying something, they have this thing of resenting. So I would say, as a parent, you have a very pivotal role wherein you need to sit and discuss the concerns with the child. Maybe the child will, retaliate saying that I may not, get affected by the virus. Then what is the problem to go out? You have to say very clearly in a very simple manner that it may be possible that you may not get affected, but you can be a carrier of the virus and indirectly you may get, indirectly you may affect others. So right now for a few months, if you observe all the precautionary measures, then in the long run you'll again be able to meet your friends and connect with them earlier, like you used to do earlier. That is very important. And secondly, I would like to say for younger kids, be a role model as a parent, play with them, post your work schedules. I think that is very, very important, wherein you introduce a lot of activities with them and also make the home environment so fun-filled. Let them nurture their creative potentials because children have a lot of energy within them. And right now, since they cannot go out a lot, obviously that energy needs to get displaced and channelized in a very productive manner. So let them get involved into good hobbies that they can be nurtured at home.
So the first question is how to address stress in housewife due to increased work at home as all family members are at home and also taking care of home 24 hours.
Yes, this is also a very, very important question. Unfortunately, we still see in our Indian families a lot of gender equality concerns happen. And as of now, I think one of the section of the society who are getting too much adversely affected because of the lockdown are the housewives, because they are too much overburdened with work. If they were doing so much of work initially also, and now people are at home. So 24 hours, if you see they are doing some work or the other, they have to take responsibility, take care of the whole family. I would say that, for housewives, the first thing is to understand and accept that you need to set boundaries to what you are doing. Don't overburden yourself and don't accept that everything, you are a homemaker, so you have to do everything. It's not like that. Right now, since other family members are at home, you need to distribute responsibilities to them as well. And it's not a matter of shame, or you don't have to go into that guilt state that I can't manage everything. We are all human beings. It's not necessary that we have to do everything on our own. So accept that boundary, share your responsibilities with other family members. Voice out, tell them that this is the thing I'm being able to manage and the rest we need to distribute. At the same time, though being a homemaker, still you need to demarcate, you need to find some time for yourself. That self-care is needed. So delineate between the time you are spending with your family, doing all the chores with your family. But at the same time, there should be at least 1 hour that you need to focus with yourself. Creative skills, if you want to nurture some hobbies, you want to meditate, you want to sing, you want to write, just sit with a cup of coffee in the balcony. I think that is also a good way to de-stress. But for homemakers, this is also very, very important.
So people like a small and medium scale business are also under stress due to loss of business and no hopes of recovering soon. How to overcome that stress and still be in confidence?
Okay. So regarding entrepreneurs with, who are handling small scale and medium scale industries, yes, they are also quite worried because of a lot of, losses happening. I would like to say focus on the local markets. That is very important as of now. At the same time, what is very important is to, focus on certain things where the loan repayments can be extended or can be, a little bit, revised, or you can pay them later. That is very important. At the same time, you need to be very flexible about, your income tax payments and all. So that can also be, delayed. At the same time, whoever is working with you, your teammates, be clear with them. Talk to them, converse with them, and if you are unable to pay their salaries, tell them clearly beforehand that this is the thing, there will be a delay in salary payments, so that they also get mentally prepared, and that leads to less of hostile feelings and more of mental well-being and transparent communication. At the same time, yes, I would like to tell those entrepreneurs that one thing is very important: evaluate very realistically where you are standing now and how much do you see ourselves, not in a very long term basis, but in short terms, like 1 month down the lane, 2 months down the lane, 3 months down the lane. That is very important, and evaluate your things accordingly. At the same time, also you need to focus and ask people working with you, the suppliers, that how much they can risk and how much they want themselves to get those profits. That is very important. At the same time, focus on things that will give you some sort of profit and that is sustainable. That is very important. Also, practice living in the present. Like, you can, at the end of the day, you can tabulate 3 good things that you have done in the whole day that has made you happy. That will help a lot to work on your self achievements and also will help you to overcome this crisis later in the long run as well.
So students, especially in 12th standard, are worried about the admissions in professional courses, and a lot of them are in stress about their future. Can you advise them?
Yes. First of all, I would like to mention that students are really worried because for them, this a worry is happening in their mind, because I do meet a lot of students and they are constantly coming up with this question that, will my future be totally affected by this temporary, crisis that is happening? Will the entire future be determined by this crisis? Because if you see, they are either taking a big leap from school to college, or they are taking a big leap from college to work life. But I would say that if you keep on asking questions wherein you don't have knowable answers, that will only lead to stress and anxiety. Rather, as I always say, divert your focus from the external to the internal world. Sit and discuss with your age group peers who are also in the same position. What can be done? What are the things that you have in your control? What are the concerns you can actually, work upon? Tabulate them and find out probable solutions and work on them. Also, focus on a varied field of interests that you have. That will help you to de-stress. At the same time, you need to understand one very, very important thing. You need to tell yourself, you need to focus on the things you can work upon now. Stop asking yourself things which are not under your control. And at the same time, like it's always said, accept and acknowledge that it is not only you, it is about all of us who are going through some sort of stress right now because of the uncertainty.
So we get so many confusion messages poured into about COVID-19. This creates a lot of stress. How to handle them?
Okay, so for this, I would say, first of all, you need to assess that what are those trigger factors that lead to anxiety. If you feel that watching news is one of the biggest triggers that exaggerates your anxiety, then you need to control. Like, you can only watch news 10 to 15 minutes twice in a day, and you need to have proper control on that, because news itself creates a lot of sensation that feeds up to our fears. At the same time, if you really feel that also is not working, then you need to stop watching news, and you can get all the valid information from probable and proper sources. At the same time, many times we see that people try to reduce their anxiety by going into a denial state wherein they try to do something else to get the temporary solace and relief from that particular aspect, but that won't work. Rather, that solace or relief that you are getting temporarily may lead to some sort of other dependency. So I would say, instead of getting into too much of panic and seeing things that actually creates panic. Focus on things that really motivates you, that gives you a positive vibe. And one of them is to, explore your wide field of interests that can be practiced indoors and work upon them. Also, whenever, a very important tip I would like to give, whenever you are discussing things with your friends, just on a normal chat or a phone call or a video call, don't discuss topics that are related to COVID. Rather, you can discuss other light topics. That is very, very important. Also, if you are focusing on this pandemic, you want to gain some information, focus on the recovery rate more than the mortality and the number of cases being reported.
A lot of people complain of low mood, no enthusiasm to do anything. Would you suggest for them?
Yes. So, I would like to say, first of all, acceptance is the key. That is first thing. If you accept that, yes, I am having anxiety, I am feeling upset, then half of the problem, the more you accept things, the more you externalize your stress, the more it is easy to work upon that. First of all, that is very important. Second is, you need to demarcate between the things you can control and the things you cannot control. So the things you cannot control in the external world, you have to shift your focus, divert it from there and come into the area wherein there are things you can control. Coming in there, you need to tabulate what are the worries you are facing, and then you need to live in the present. Stop asking yourself, what if? You'll never get an answer to that. Rather, focus on here and now. That will help you to reduce those negative spirals that keep on coming and disturbing us in our brain. And that will help you to rationalize and find out realistic solutions. So you need to demarcate between your rational thoughts and your fears. At the same time, yes, please speak up. Unfortunately, in today's world, still mental health has a lot of taboo. We are very, we feel so expressive. We are so easily, we can say people that, I am having a stomach pain, I'm having a headache. But when it comes to I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling upset, we get so masked. We feel, what will a person feel if I tell that? The most important thing is to accept that if there's a worry, it is a worry, and you need to share and you need to accept it. You need to feel that it is not only you, it can happen to anybody. And I'm saying this again and again right now, every one of us, irrespective of what area we are working, we all are going through some stress. So accept it, acknowledge that you are having a worry, share with your near and dear ones, with your family, with your friends. And at the same time, if you really feel at times it is getting too much, you can always consult mental health professionals. There's no shame in that, no guilt in that. I mean, that is the way you can work on it. Don't repress it, because that may lead to much graver consequences later.
Elderly at home stick to their old ways, not ready to change. In lockdown, constantly we have to bear with that. How to deal with them?
For the elderly population, it's quite unfortunate that they are, I would say, one of the most worst affected groups as of now, because earlier their life used to be mostly, they used to focus on, going out and meeting their age group peers and, going and walking in the parks. All that has stopped mostly. And it's a complete swing wherein social distancing came into focus. But I would like to mention, social distancing is actually physical distancing and in-person socialization. Social distancing doesn't mean mental distancing. And with the older population, with our old age population, they are getting, doubly affected, because also they are more vulnerable to contract this virus. And at the same time, they are also more vulnerable to suffer from loneliness, depression, and stress. So first of all, as a, responsible family member, we need to sit and explain them in simpler terms that this, social distancing that is being done is not to mentally alienate them or not to, make them isolated. It is being done for their safety, because that is one of the best ways to reduce the spread of the virus. But don't mentally isolate them. Involve them in decision-making processes of your family so that they feel accepted. Make sure they are following all the routines that they used to do earlier. They can go for, a small walk in their own housing complex, or they can sit in the balcony, because even proper sleep, proper diet, proper hygiene, all these things are important. Along with that, a little bit of fitness exercises, because we all know that they are the people who are too much affected adversely. So we need to play a very, we need to empathize with them, and we need to give them that emotional strength. We need to make them feel accepted right now.
Sleep wake cycle is disturbed. Does it have any problems?
Yes. So, in general, only if a person is stressed or under anxiety, sleep gets disrupted, sleep and diet. And I would say this is a very good question, which we like to highlight upon, is that during this phase, a lot of complaints are coming as regards to disturbed sleep. First of all, to increase our immunity and to work on the circadian rhythm, we need to have proper 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep every day along with proper diet. And one very important thing I would like to mention, that working from home does not mean working from bed. You need to adhere to all the routine that you used to do earlier. The only difference is you're not going out much. That is the only thing. Other than that, follow all the routine properly, work accordingly like you used to do earlier. At the same time, even a little bit of sunlight is required to, work on your circadian rhythms. At the same time, don't watch too much of news or, these sort of things which create a lot of anxiety and stress before sleep. Do some light meditation exercises, read some light storybooks before sleeping, sleep in a dark room, and at the same time avoid taking too long naps during the morning or in the afternoon, because that also disrupts our proper sleep during night. At the same time, if you lie down on the bed and if you feel that you're not getting sleep, don't sleep, just be there. Ideally, rather get up, do some exercises or relaxation activities, and come back and try sleeping again. Also, if there are any problem solving things that you need to work out, there are some problems you need to sort out, do it in the morning. Don't keep it for late hours. And yes, at the same time, proper diet, that is very important also for good sleeping habits. And lastly, I would like to say regarding sleep, keep your home environment clean. Right now, already there's so much of uncertainty outside. Our brain is already too much our brain is too much cluttered as of now. So if we keep our immediate environment, our internal locus clean and, balanced and organized, that itself leads to a lot of declutter. And that itself is very important for restful sleep.
We come to the last question. How does the mind-body connection affect our emotions?
Okay, this is a very, very important question. Of course, it affects our emotions totally. Mind and body are interconnected. And in today's society, I would like to say we need to create this sensitization. We need to spread this awareness that it's not only our body we need to focus upon, it's our mind also we need to take care of, because both lead to wellness. It's overall wellness will only come when we take care of both our body and mind. And unfortunately, still there is so much of taboo related to mind that though we do a lot of things related to our body, but if you ask about our mind, many a times we just ignore it at times. You find if I'm having some bodily issues, I can immediately call up the doctor and ask for medications. But if it's mind, let it be, it will get okay. No, you need to speak up, you need to talk, and at the same time, you need to accept that just as body is important, mind is also very important. And the more you share your feelings, the more you verbalize your feelings, you can always focus on the overall well-being, because that regulates our emotions. The more we are healthy, both from our body and mind. It's always said, a happy mind and healthy body leads to positive emotions. Positive, leads to overall wellness. So we need to spread that information and also try to focus on community well-being. I mean, that will also lead to a lot of positive feeling, because right now, we are having a lot of uncertain time we are all going through, and that is making us feel powerless. So the more we focus on our body, our mind, and the overall holistic well-being, that itself will focus on our overall well-being and will keep us happy. And during this pandemic, we need to work. All of us, we need to work together. We are all in this together. You are not alone. That you have to accept, and we have to move ahead. And that way only we can overcome this crisis. So lastly, I would like to say, spread wellness, mental and physical. Both are important. And be positive. We'll surely come out of this soon. Thank you.